So here to talk about all of that with us is world-renowned doctor. He's also the chief scientific officer at the Wellness Company, and he is the author of Vaccines, Mythology, Ideology, and Reality, our good friend, Dr. Peter McCullough. Dr. McCullough, great to see you.
Thank you.
Sir, we all know about the spike proteins. There are a lot of folks who got vaccinated who are concerned about it and have been asking about how they can get rid of it if that's even possible. You guys have an answer, the ultimate spike detox. Tell us about it.
This has been a big advance, the ultimate spike detox, which is a combination of critical natural ingredients to help the body, get rid of the spike protein. I just finished with a patient who's had a very nice reduction in the spike protein antibody levels. We can directly measure spike protein in the blood in research patients out to 3.2 years after the shots. It needs to be cleared. Everybody should be looking at the ultimate spike detox.
Yeah, important. All right, so the mRNA vaccine, you have long been helping us understand the potential dangers and some of the information that was covered up. Now the HHS Secretary himself has pulled back mRNA vaccine development. How important a moment is this, and what do you think comes next?
We've had a chance to look at messenger RNA vaccines, and the Achilles heel of the technology is that it's the synthetic genetic code for a protein or an antigen. There's no ability to shut this genetic code off once it goes into the body. I mentioned Pfizer, Moderna lasting 3.2 years producing the dangerous and potentially lethal spike protein. Well, the same would be true for an Ebola antigen or an antigen for Marburg virus. And the messenger RNA technology is just far too dangerous. It's not understood. And I think Kennedy was right by pulling back on these projects. Now, the projects were government dollars invested with Sanofi or Moderna or Pfizer. And if these companies want to take on the development efforts and they certainly can do that, but we don't need the government, especially BARDA, which is a unit of the NIH. It doesn't need to be in the vaccine business.
Sure. Dr. McCullough, when Secretary Kennedy announced this, on cue, in unison, Big Med and Big Pharma immediately started criticizing the decision, saying it was anti-science, fear-mongering, saying people were going to die. Are people going to die just for pulling federal contracts?
No, because the companies, are flush with cash. If they believe there's a compelling market, they can bring forward these technologies. We don't need to have government dollars assisting private companies or publicly held companies to make these vaccines. And not only that, these were just 22 contracts. We have DARPA, the research unit of the military, which has an ADEPT P3 program since 2012, trying to develop vaccines to end pandemics within 60 days. That's still going on. So the United States is still deep into messenger RNA development. I think the withdrawal ought to be broad. It ought to be complete. The technology does not look ready for prime time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are starting to feel that way. All right, I want to talk about the mosquito-borne virus that's been spreading across China. A lot of hype in the media about that. What's up? Another Trump presidency, another virus emerging in China. People are like, oh, no, not again. Deja vu all over again. What are you seeing?
You wonder about the genesis of these stories. We're talking about the chikungunya virus, which is an RNA virus carried by mosquitoes. A paper by Ribeiro and colleagues indicates that there's 35 million cases a year. So you get a mosquito bite and develop a fever and some muscle aches, and it's transient. Why is China reporting on several thousand cases? They probably contribute to millions of cases themselves in China. Turns out there's a new vaccine called Vimkunya. Vimkunya was just released a few months ago. And I do have to wonder, is the genesis of these stories, is it really just market generation for a new vaccine?
Wow.
No, absolutely. Because it's not particularly fatal, is it? Has anybody died from it?
Well, there have been deaths, but they're not adjudicated, and elderly people can get sick with other illnesses, and it can be part of this spiral. And importantly, there are therapeutics that look very promising in preclinical studies and early clinical studies, ivermectin being one of them, nicotinamide, as well as nitrous oxide. So the bottom line is, even if this became a big issue in the United States, we have treatment, but the principles are mosquito control, just like what's done for yellow fever, it's done for malaria, and should be done for chikungunya virus.
Makes sense. It does indeed.
Dr. Peter McCullough, we love having you on. I want to ask you one more question, though, because if they've got a vaccine for it, that's great. But I see people in China being locked down. I see the same, all of the same things that they did leading up to COVID, I'm seeing them doing now. What message is that sending to the rest of the world about that? And are we going to have people on this side of the globe who are panicking the same way?
There seems to be, unfortunately, a marketing approach that's fear-based. That is, to be fearful, become locked down, and then seek a vaccine to be liberated, to get freedoms back. I think it's wrong. I think it's dangerous. It's coercive. And it's not advancing the ideals of vaccinology broadly or, in medicine. So this is a bad pattern, and it's disturbing to see it. I hope the rest of the world doesn't fall for this. 35 million cases a year. We can get through it. There are therapeutics. There is a vaccine in the wings, but the bottom line is the vaccine has never been tested for safety. It's actually never been tested to see if it prevents chikungunya disease. These vaccines are brought on the market because they raise antibodies, which sometimes can be a false surrogate.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dr. Peter McCullough with the Wellness Company, thank you so much for being with us, sir.
Thank you.